Welcome to this week's episode of Good Morning Greyhounds. I am Logan McInnes, your host this week. Are any of you horror movie fans out there? Well, today is your lucky day. We have two amazing guests this morning, George and Audrey Lane, film festival directors of the International Horror Film Festival, Days of the Dead. Days of the Dead Film Festival has had notable guests for meet and greets and live screenings with horror fans nationwide. Some special guests that have appeared are Damien Leone, director of the Terrifier series, and David Howard Thornton, known as Art the Clown from Terrifier, Doug Bradley, Pinhead from the Hellraiser series, and Kane Hodder, known as Jason Voorhees, in the Friday the 13th series, parts 7 to 10, and in the 2017 video game. Thank you for tuning into our show this morning. Joining me are Audrey and George. So we're just going to jump straight into the questions.
Okay.
How did your experience and background inspire you to create a film festival?
Well, I'll start if that's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
For both of us, we have been lovers of the genre for as long as I can remember. Little kid being scared of things and going to the drive-in and seeing things like Amityville Horror. I'm losing my mind. Sorry. Just starting with, things like that, going to the drive-in and just loving to be scared. Friday the 13th is one of my favorite series.
Yeah.
I just fell in love with being scared. And of course, the old classics that we've all seen, the Universal monster movies and things like that.
Yeah.
And we didn't intend to start a film festival. It just kind of happened. Just going to conventions and then volunteering, which moving up through the company in different phases. And then, just kind of learning the ropes and seeing the ins and outs of how the convention works, how the film festival works. It really helped us be able to craft running a festival the way that we want to, with integrity and with the idea of really bringing something special to the attendings and the filmmakers that come in and enjoy the festival with us.
Yeah. How about you? Similar?
Pretty similar. Grew up with here, same as she did, watching Sammy Terry late at night.
Yeah.
And so that was like my introduction to horror movies. Pretty safe being at home. I couldn't see some of the stuff that wasn't on TV at the time, because it was the early 80s. But went to a horror convention. My dad brought me there, and I said, they have horror conventions? And went there, volunteered the next year at their film festival, and started doing security, and then eventually became directors for the film festival, and then worked another film festival, and then eventually landed us at Days to where they offered us a job there. So
it's kind of been a journey, which
Yeah.
is really cool, because each festival we worked for, we were able to refine our craft and try some different things to see if they worked. What did we want to incorporate to make our experience a little different than others? For example, with when we became directors of Days for Days of the Dead, we didn't originally have a screenplay competition because we were basically kind of starting from scratch, because they had not had a film festival for about 2 years. And so when you lose that momentum, and when people are coming to the convention as a whole and the Tattoo Expo, that element was missing. So we were like, okay, before we get to that next step, let's start with basics, see what we want to do, see what works, do it the way, because I would say this is Days of the Dead was the first one where we I think we started off just so basic, to where it was like, okay, we're going to start here and we're going to craft this without rushing it, but just to do it the way we wanted. And then once we achieved kind of all of our goals for that first year, we were like, okay, it's time to now add the screenplay competition, which then led to live script reads and working with amazing companies that wanted to partner with us to do things like Sound of Scripts and Coverage Inc. And Sound of Scripts will take your screenplay and turn it into an audio play. And so they gave us
That's
a really
awesome.
nice package to where we could do the short film the short screenplay in a whole, and excerpts from the features. And it was a really, really cool experience to hear, after reading that script, and then sometimes reading it in a live script read, and then hearing it come to life on an audio play. Just spectacular. And Coverage Inc. is another exceptional real world prize. And we call those real world prizes because they kind of go beyond winning a certificate or an award. They can actually use that as like, hey, I wrote this, but now listen to it, now let's make it.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. And Coverage Inc. is one of those companies that really take a lot of pride, and they have over 20 years of experience in helping screenplays get to that next step, which is to have an agent and or to be able to put it in front of people that can finance it and help get it made, because they are helping the script be refined and giving those that insight to how can you make your script not so much better, but capitalize on all the things that you've already done to make it stronger when you present it. So it's a very in-depth, like 20-page analysis
Wow.
of your script. So that's really fantastic for screenwriters.
Wow. So you said you started with the basics and creating your film festival. What was that process like? Like, how did you start that? Because it's one thing to go from an idea, oh, I want to create a film festival, to actually doing it. So how was that? How did that work out?
I'm going to say it was just seeing what we saw that didn't pan out right with other film festivals that we've worked with, and kind of like what Audrey was saying is like what we wanted to do that was better. One of the most important things is networking. So at the physical event, we want to network, but even to take it back, even prior to even that to that happening, is social media, making sure that people know about not just your film festival, but the films that are going to be screening at your film festivals. It's one of those things to where a lot of filmmakers, we were getting feedback from them that other film festivals weren't advertising their projects and what we're going to be screening with us.
And with the
or
combined
with
festival.
That it was just, it almost seemed like that the convention was taking more prominence, and even film festivals that's not ours, that's other ones, they just didn't feel that there was enough advertisement. So we stepped that up big time. Like you really knocked that out of the park with it, as far as your.
Yeah, and I think as people that like to go to conventions and like to go to film festivals outside of work, it's like, okay, it kind of sometimes disappears as far as promoting. So I think we do a really good job of showcasing the talent that we're bringing, whether it's the films or the screenplays. So we were like, how can we make this better? What can we do? Because we have control over that. So when we first started doing the advertisements, and we call them they're like they're little promo videos. I guess that's the easiest way to kind of say it. And it was rudimentary. It wasn't bad, but it was very basic, because I'm not a designer. I don't have like the creativity when I'm like, oh, this looks nice, and space this way. And it's like, no, this has to have the information, it has to have this and that. And so when we craft, what we have now is we have an advertisement for the poster, then we give a synopsis, the person's name, then if they have stills from their film, we show those. If they have a trailer, we show those. We set it to some music, and it's just a nice little graphic that plays, and they can share it, we can share it, and then we put them all together by block. So if you're coming in and you're gonna watch I'm gonna say Totally Awesome block, since I was just working on that yesterday, from July, getting everything on YouTube, because it's a lot of content, and we're still getting it up on YouTube. And so I was working on that, and I was just like, this is great. So if someone's watching the Totally Awesome block, they could see all of the projects that are playing through that block and just watch their trailer and learn a little bit about the filmmaker, because we do put their bios on there also. So it's those little things that we're, trying to say, hey, you are important, this project is important, and yes, we're all under the same umbrella of a convention and film festival and tattoo expo, but we still want to make sure that you are showcased, and you know, your project's important to us. And still, we're still, Days of the Dead will now be in its 15th year, 14th year. And when you're bringing back in a component that hasn't been there, you're, like I said, you're still kind of still building that momentum and saying, hey, we're here. But, you know, it's with a convention, and some people don't care about the film festival. And there's some people that come in just for the film festival and don't really do much with the convention. So you're trying to reach those people that may not be interested also, or may not even know that there's a film festival, though it's advertised, because when they're coming for the convention solely. So as far as when you answer your question further, back to basics, it's starting from what works, what didn't work, and how we can incorporate new ideas to make it better for just a better event by showcasing that talent.
And I think it's really interesting that you guys are actually married.
Yeah.
Does that, how do you guys work collectively from the home and kind of make that like a family-like experience for the visitors to the festival?
Would you like to answer that?
Yeah,
one,
that's
Mr.
pretty
Ray?
interesting. There's a lot of hard knocks at the beginning. And I think the thing is, it's finding your own groove and making sure that you separate what responsibilities to where one doesn't feel this is like, hey, I'm taking on way too much here. And so as long as that's balanced out, and once we did balance that out, way smoother.
Yeah,
But
sometimes you can be like, oh, I'm irritated with something with work, and then it's like, okay, but still have to have dinner together. You know, we still have to do things. So it was like, and for a while we were doing so for 3 years we did multiple conventions. We did Horror Hound and PopCon, and then we no longer worked at Horror Hound. Then we did PopCon we didn't even have a sole year and then we did Days of the Dead. So for 3 years we were doing 2 full-blown film festivals.
still during COVID.
Yeah, and so that was a lot. And so finding that balance and then being able to delegate. The thing is, being a director, we have to delegate within what we do, and then we have to delegate and let people handle other things. And I think when you are so concerned about everything being right and everything being perfect, it's hard to let go of responsibilities. But that's why you have a team, and that's why you work with people that you can give those responsibilities to. It's a hard balance of finding that, but once you find it and get into that groove, it does make it better. Leading up to the convention specifically, the duties kind of switch, because throughout that whole time, I do a lot of the administrative and behind the scene things. We're both watching movies, we're both rating movies. We had to have him drop back from scripts because he has a full-time job working with autistic kids. So
That's awesome.
he's got a whole nother life, you know, separate from this.
Yeah.
So I take a bulk of those things, but closer to the convention, he is an absolute rock star.
Yeah.
He puts the schedule together. He does certain things that I just mentally cannot handle and do, and he's a whiz at it. He does the schedule for the Q&As in person, like after the films, when we speak to the filmmakers, he does that schedule. So a lot of those things that just are taken off my plate are great, and then some things I can take off of his plate because I am freer time-wise to do it. So it's a balance, but I think we really, this year, just so much smooth sailing. I think it was better than last year.
Oh, way better. Yeah, it keeps getting progressively better each time. Finding that groove, and like I said, she answers majority of I'd say the emails. I do some. I'm like 20% maybe.
Well, it's because you're up at night with work sometimes, and you can like pop on there and like answer something real quick, or so just answer it.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your full-time job working with the autistic kids?
Yeah, I work at Daymar Services, Inc. It's on the southwest side of Indy.
Yeah.
I've been there for 25 years. They
He just
even
got his 25-year plaque in
Yeah, that was cool.
Congratulations. That's
oh,
awesome.
thank you very much.
Both of my parents actually worked there when they were younger. So
Oh, wow.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah. I wonder if I if I
Yeah.
knew them back then.
Don and
Uh,
Tracy McInnes. Well, they wouldn't have that last name, but at the time.
Huh. I'm good with faces.
Yeah.
But and plus also I work third shift, so I just got off work.
Yeah.
So it's just it gives me also more time for the for film festival duties.
Mhm.
But yeah, I worked there for that long. They even put me on a billboard for some reason for a while. I was just like, so everybody doing triple takes, going down 465, and it's like, is that George? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my mug.
That's awesome that you do that, though. It's really, really cool that you do that for the community.
Oh, thank you.
Kind of switching gears, have any award winners from your festival actually like made a name for themselves in the horror world? Are there any
Oh,
like
gosh.
spotlight winners that have won?
I will say oh my gosh, that's a loaded one. So I will say, just because right off the bat, this has been recent. So one of our films, The Activated Man, is going to have a world premiere release in Los Angeles, December 13th. But he had, and his film was going into major distribution, and it starred like Tony Todd, Kane Hodder. Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain lapse right now.
Costa, last name was it
Jamie Costa.
Jamie Costa? Thank
And Kane Hodder was Jason Voorhees, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it is one of those movies you have to see because Kane is so good in it.
Mhm.
He's not, it's different than a lot of the roles he has. It's a starring role. It's him, not necessarily in a costume or mask, and he's really good. The movie is outstanding. One of our films, Killington, picked up distribution about a month ago, just in time for the spooky season. So it's the end of September, and that is a film we actually produced as well. Let's see, we've done though they didn't win awards with us, we did do some interactive screenings for the Terrifier movies for Terrifier 2. Those were both excellent, and those we should have some more footage of that up. Some of it did make it on their.
It's the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. I have an interview with me and Damien and David Howard Thornton.
That's awesome.
That was a really cool thing to do. The only thing that I missed out is that there was going to be a featurette on there for the entire interactive screening that we had put together. I want to say that featurette, Chris Hackett put that together. It's like 14 minutes. It's going to be a 14-minute featurette, and they missed putting it. I think they misplaced the file, and it did not make it on there. So
But hopefully,
Oh my.
but it is on YouTube. He was able to release it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
I actually
it
did
is out
see that
there.
video on YouTube.
Did you?
I'm a big
Awesome.
Terrifier
that's
fan, so I thought it
awesome.
was
That
really cool.
that makes me so
Yeah.
happy.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
How was it meeting Damian Leone and David Howard Thornton? I know they're like big in the horror world.
Yeah,
right
we've
now.
met them, and it's so fun because we met them, especially Damien, before we even started working with Days. We met them
Yeah.
at one of the Days conventions, just kind of hanging out. They're awesome guys. They're awesome. They always
Salt
have time.
of the earth type of dudes.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
they're
they
just-
always have time to talk. The whole crew that works within that realm, the Fuzz on the Lens guys, Phil Falcone, all of them are just such good guys, and they love their fans. They love talking about films. They love giving advice about films. Like if you are wanting to make a commercial, I mean, you can ask any of the Fuzz on the Lens guys, how do you do that? What can you do? And they have a lot of their things on their site of other than movies and special effects that they do. So they are really just, I don't know. They're good
They just
guys.
directed a film that just came out. It was at a small theatrical run
Oh, yeah, Stream.
called Stream, directed by Michael Levy. The Levy brothers, Michael Levy, Jason Levy, and then Steve De La Sala, they run Fuzz on the Lens Productions, and they have also been involved in the first, 3 Terrifier movies. They produced 2 and 3. They were all in the first Terrifier movie acting. But yeah, it's good to see and we still remember them from the early days with Horror Hound. They had a film in there called Abnormal Attraction. So,
so we've been knowing them since like 2018.
Yeah,
so
to
that's
see
really
their rise in their careers has been awesome.
Oh, and I did want to mention Cannibal Comedian as well, because that was 2023
Yes.
was insane, and we got to see those guys so much. And it's one of those movies that just kind of hit on the festival circuit, and everybody knows about it. It's an award winner with us. Oh, Forever Home.
Tyler Chipman's film right now, The Shade,
Yes.
is at theaters.
And it's an award-winning film with us, and it is amazing also. We have been so lucky and so fortunate to get some really amazing features. I mean, the shorts are always great because you get such an abundance of those, but the features are, I think, the harder ones, because when people are submitting those, you know, they may not always cross our path. I think a lot of our things that have come in, especially things that just are of that caliber, that it has such a universal appeal. A lot of it's word of mouth. I think one thing I don't have an ego, and I don't, you know, it's hard for me to take a compliment, but one thing I will compliment us on as a group is the interactions that people say they have with us. And they're like, hey, don't go for the award, don't go for what you might get, go for the experience. They're a good group of people, and they put on an amazing show, and that's kind of the best compliment that you can get. So I think a lot of times when these films are coming our way, I think a lot of it is what we're doing, but a lot is also by word of mouth and people recommending our film festival. And when you've got hundreds of places to go and they choose us, it's really a humbling feeling. Yeah. And I know I'm just going to kick myself after not answering that question better with the award winners that have gone on to make, you know, things, but those are in recent memories, because we have literally seen probably close to 4,000 movies in the last, 5 years?
Yeah.
6 years? It's a lot.
Yeah.
So just remembering things, and I'm glad you mentioned The Shade, because that's something that people actually can go out and see right now. And they played with us last year, and it's a phenomenal movie.
He won Best Director last year.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Well, after the break, we're going to kind of shift gears into some fun trivia.
Ooh.
So we will be back with trivia and more questions after the break.
Thank you, everybody. I am George Lane. I'm the Co-Film Festival Director for Days of the Dead.
I hope you'll understand. Even though I must do this, I will always love you, my darling.
Welcome back. We'll be switching gears to some trivia. We're just going to jump right in here.
I'm scared.
When will your next festival be in Indianapolis?
Oh, that's an easy one. It will be June 23rd through the 25th, 2025, or 21st through the 23rd. Do you know?
No, I don't. But it's right there.
Because it's before your birthday.
Yes, it's either. I think it's before my birthday. I think it's the 23rd, 21st through the 23rd.
I think that's
whatever
right.
that weekend is, right there. It's
Yep.
it.
Yep. And the festival will be held at the Indianapolis Marriott East, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And Friday from 5 to 10, Saturday from 11 to 7, and Sunday from 11 to 4.
Yes.
All right.
The film festival does go longer. Our hours go outside of convention hours, so we may go till midnight to 1, depending on what we're screening.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Moving on to the next question. What is the big franchise where the guests are mainly coming from for your Indianapolis festival?
Gosh, that's a hard one. Because there's like 15, we have like multiple festivals. Let's see, who's the big, oh my gosh. I don't want to say Terrifier because I know they're going to be there in November. I'm going to say Terrifier, and I'm going to say,
I'll give you a hint as one of your favorites that you've talked about.
oh, Friday the 13th.
Yep.
I wonder if
7
it's going to be a
guests.
part 2 reunion or part 4.
Yep, 7 guests are coming from Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah.
So, along with like Michael Bean, who was in the
Oh yeah,
Mandalorian.
so it'll be an Aliens
Yeah.
one also, I
yeah,
believe.
Jeanette Goldstein appeared in
Yeah.
Aliens, and then
And she's super sweet. She's awesome, and she has great stories. So if anybody comes to that's listening, make sure you stop by and talk to Jeanette Goldstein. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
when and where will the Days of the Dead Horror Convention Awards ceremony occur in Atlanta in 2025?
Well, that will definitely be February 21st through the 23rd
Yep.
at the
Will it be on
Court-
Saturday?
and it will be on Saturday,
Yep.
usually in the evening, of course.
Yeah, we usually have, when we block that time out, we don't have a set time just yet, but once we do, I'm going to say it's usually later, around 6 p.m. It could be a little bit later than that, but we try to block that area.
It's going to be such a big show. We have the Tattoo Expo, and they'll have awards, the costume contest, and plus our award ceremony, and balancing the panels that'll be that day. But yeah, we usually have it in the evening.
And that'll be at the Cortland Grand Hotel, right, in
Yep.
Atlanta?
Yep.
Yeah.
Our biggest show, it's going to be fantastic. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
That'll be
Atlanta
awesome.
comes out. They come out for films. It's awesome.
There's
Yeah.
going to be over 100 artists, tattoo artists, for the Tattoo Expo. So it's going to be an absolutely insane event, taking over 3 floors for the first time. And yeah, it's going to be a good one.
How many Deadhead Trophy Awards will be given out at the awards ceremony?
Oh, I'm going to ask George if he knows that.
I know it's 12.
Yes.
It's 12.
Yeah, it's
You're right.
usually 10. This time we were able to add another 2 Deadhead Awards.
For our screenplays.
For the screenplays.
So
that's
when we were
awesome.
talking earlier about taking steps and getting to, that was our next step. We wanted to make sure that we were able to do Deadhead trophies for best feature screenplay and best short screenplay. So
Yeah. And unfortunately, we're not able to say the Best in Show nickname on
oh
Yeah.
no,
podcast here. So
it's a
we
doozy
can
though.
abbreviate
yeah,
maybe people BMF.
Maybe, but yeah,
So
maybe. Yeah.
I'm sure that people can kind of infer.
Yeah. How many certificate awards will be given out at the awards ceremony?
Okay, now that's a tricky one. So right now, I think we are scheduled for 25. But if we don't have enough viable candidates for that, so like let's say if there's a music video and we don't have enough just for a music video, that category could be eliminated, or it could be the best documentary could be eliminated. But we are so on task with documentaries this time. We've gotten several, so like more than last time, so that'll be fun. So, and then we might add something in new, like we started the best original song, so we might be able to kind of alter those a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think we're on tap for 25.
Yeah, I had 20, but I think with the Sounds of Scripts winner, the short
Yeah, those
and
are
feature, I
digital.
think that counts as 2, and then there are multiple ones with kind of 2 awards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
those
yeah.
added us. Added up.
Yep, but you're close. You're close.
Yes.
I'm just going to ask you guys a few more questions aside from the trivia. What are some of the most memorable moments you've had from any of your festival events?
Can we talk about them? No.
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to say. You go first.
I'm gonna say it's just the green room. I can't. Trying to think of exactly one particular time, but it's just always our green room. Our green room has become now infamous to where it's usually the Terrifier people. Yeah, and I'm calling them out. They'll come over there, hang out, drink our booze, and get some of our food. But it's just they're good people. Sit down and have a good discussion and chat, and
We've
of course others bring others. We keep it usually just within the film festival, people, because it's not like open to the public, but the film festival people, but also our guests, our celebrity guests come in there now. when it used to not be. And
It's kind of a nice place to go and break away from the crowd.
Yeah.
Sometimes our event is people's first time going to a film festival or a film festival that's within a convention, and it can get overwhelming. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of lights, it can get hot. You might be looking for a quiet place to just have your coffee or to take a bite, you know, get some snacks and kind of. So we have the lights dim. There's like nice lighting, some music going out. Granted, there might be metal playing at the time, but it's still away from the crowd. And the conversations and the friendships and the partnerships that are sparked by the green room is amazing, because that's one of the places people go and sit and talk and they'll, hey, I got an idea, I really liked your film, or I got a question, how did you do this? It's a night shot, and every time I try to do night shots, they don't match up, and they'll sit in there and have a conversation, and next thing I know, we're walking in there and I'm like, hey, we're gonna be working on something together, and it's like, that's great, I'm glad we can provide it. But yeah, it's a fun place where people can just come in and chill. But yes, we've had some of the celebrities come in and just hang out for a bit and talk shop, or just get away and have these great conversations. I think one of the ones that last year in Atlanta, when Jackson Rathbone from the Twilight series was there, and he was talking to a couple of filmmakers just kind of one-on-one about things, and it was, you know, a great thing. He didn't have to do that. He kind of went in there to chill, but he didn't, you know, he just had a conversation and, you know, thanked us for letting him, you know, kind of hang out for a bit just to kind of get away. So the green room, I kind of agree with the green room, but I'm going to say I think the people that have given away our BMF Best in Show have been memorable for me, because the first year was Phil Anselmo. Then it was, oh, help me out. I know that Adam Green was last year.
Yeah.
Damian Leone, did he do twice now?
Nope.
Damian Leone and,
So it was Phil Anselmo,
yes, help me.
Lloyd Kaufman.
Thank you.
Then it was Damian Leone, and then it was Adam Green, and then it was Michael Levy and Phil Falcone from the producers of Terrifier 2 and 3.
Thank you.
Wow, so you guys have had some big people on your.
Yeah, and
your
they are
show.
so sweet, because, you know, you want to ask them because you want a BMF to give away the BMF. You know, you want it to be that iconic person, or, you know, sometimes it's people that just really flock to certain franchises or celebrities, and it's because they just have kind of that spark, like Uncle Lloyd. He's been doing this for 40 years, longer, I think.
No,
And
it's definitely longer. Yeah.
and he's just an icon, and everyone loves him. Everyone loves working with him. He is one of the few celebrities that when he goes, he doesn't charge anything. You can go and talk to him. He has all kind of little gifts at his table that people bring him because they love him that much. So having him do it was great, but he also became a partner that we can distribute our movies through. Like, that's a platform that we can
Troma
submit
Now.
things to Troma Now, and if they accept it, they go on Troma Now. So it's just, you know, those relationships. They're amazing. I mean, we are so lucky and fortunate to have built these relationships, and we always want to continue to nurture them. So that I just want to give a special shout out to Uncle Lloyd, because he's just phenomenal.
And Lloyd also made sure we get the Troma Award, that we get to give that one out too. So.
Oh yeah, we do have a Troma Award.
I hate to wrap this conversation up because it's
Not
been
at all.
super entertaining. Where can people find information if they want to either attend a festival or volunteer?
So specifically with us, we have a website now, daysofthedeadfilmfestival.com, and that will have our schedule. It has a spot that you can click to volunteer, to also submit your film, to just read up about us and what we do. You can see things from other events, like pictures and things like that. We are still working on that part of the website. And then if they want to, and you can also connect to the convention from that page also. But you can see all the guests and everything at daysofthedead.com, and it'll have all of our upcoming shows, which are November in Chicago, January is Vegas, February is Atlanta, then there's another May show in Chicago, and then Indy in June.
Yep. All right, well, thank you both for joining us this morning on Good Morning Greyhounds. Tune in every Wednesday. See you next week. Take care.